People say I'm the life of the party 'cause I tell a joke or two. Well, I might be laughing loud and clear. Deep inside I'm blue. So take a good look at my face. You'll see my smile looks out of place. Take a little bit closer. It's easy to trace the tracks of my tears. Ooh, 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 I need you, I need you. Ooh. That was Tracks of My Tears by Smokey Robinson. What a banger that is. What a banger. A couple of good numbers from Smokey. On a bit of a Motown kick, you know. I might put a bit of Motown on, bit of the Supremes. Baby, 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 don't leave me. Ooh, don't leave me all by myself. There's some law with the Supremes, you know. Who was in the Supremes? I don't want to say it was Whitney Houston. It was not Whitney Houston in the Supremes. Who was there was a crazy politic, not only in the Supremes but the fan base of the Supremes, because it was like a Destiny's Child situation where Beyonce was the star of the show, or what the label wanted to put as the star of the show. So internally, because it was a three-piece female-fronted group, it became quite problematic. Yeah, very good, very good. Diana Ross. Is it Diana Ross? Diana Ross, wasn't it? Who was in the Supremes? Upside down, boy, you turn me inside out. Apparently quite the gay anthem, that one. So put some respect on that one. It's a banger. It's a banger. Tell you what, get me down to the gay bars, mate. If that one's blasted, come on now. Come on now. Get me on the dance floor. Come on now. After You, My Friends is track number 1. Let's Talk About Feelings is the record by Lagwagon. Goes out to my man Ray, who recommended this over on the Patreon. This is going to be a nice brief listen, all right? We've got 12 numbers. We're going to be high octane. We've got short songs. Lagwagon is an act I've not delved into. Lagwagon is a punk rock band I associate with the 90s, and I associate it with Fat Records. Who put this out? Let's have a look. Is it Fat Records? Well, Hopeless Records have got the credit here. 1998 Fat Music LLC. Is that Fat Records? I assume it is, given that was my presumption. Okay. Without further ado, this one goes out to you, Ray. After You, My Friends. Let's see what Lagwagon's all about, yeah? Mic check.
Here he is, he saves a grin. He wants to be the one who doesn't have to sink a level in these streets. In his retreat, all he needs is just a taste of the bitter pride he held in her name. Embrace the solitude and an ordinary fucked up state of grace. Far away from the days she bears the cross she used to wear. Each summer so well aware, a little bit of full of pin-up boy they dress in dreaming wear. Well then he's a consent in the drift of undertow.
That chord progression is almost canon in D. Unique. This is great. This is great, Unique. I assume it's the band who's composed this. The drums are produced so punchy they sound programmed.
A fool to think anyone
How punchy is that? I'm going to be back in 1 second. I'm going to have a look who drummed on this record. The profile photo shows me it's a 3-piece, which would make sense. Let's just find out. 1 second. I'm not going to go any deeper than the Wikipedia page I looked at, but there was no information on the band at that point. I assume it's a 3-piece. Supposedly, it might be the frontman's or the main. Some dude. I assume it's the frontman. It was his favorite record out of their discography, and it was actually influenced by Punk in Drublic, the '94 NoFX record, which is a great record. That is a good record. Very nice. Nice introduction to the record. I just want to keep it fast though. I love the fast bits. I love these pop punk bands that are actually they have a big dollop of punk, and they utilize the speed and the drive of punk rock music as well as like a clean melodic vocal on top. It's absolutely pristine. We've got Gun in Your Hand coming up next. King of the Pit TV, Let's Talk About Feelings is the record we're listening to. It's going to be a nice, easy listen. It's Lagwagon, and on this record, track 2 of 12 is Gun in Your Hand. Let's go. '98 was the same year Saves the Day put out a great record. I forgot the title of it, something to do with Too Fast or blah de blah. But that was a great record. I love the sound of that one as far as pop punk is concerned. Bands can't do this no more. As far as modern acts are concerned, you're looking at emo tinged pop punk. Straightforward pop punk is a hard beast to tame now. I think there's an act from the US called they cover Blink-182, believe it or not, and they appeal to like hardcore crowds and stuff. I forgot what they're called. No Pressure, they're called. No Pressure are a modern like pop punk band that are like 90s pop punk and are doing it okay. But I think generally speaking, it's tough to establish a following now. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've only got my ear to the ground as far as punk rock community is concerned, like grassroots community. I know there's a whole world of pop punk fans external to hardcore and stage dives and stuff like that, who just enjoy poppy sounding, softcore music, girlfriend hardcore music. That's sexist. That drum beat there, was that a blast beat? More or less. I think it was on the toms.
Just like you, hated authority, hated all my my bosses thought they were full of shit. Look, it's like they say, if you're not a rebel at the age of 20, you got no heart. But if you haven't turned established by 30, you got no brains. Because there are no storybook romances, no fairy tale endings. Before you run out and change the world, ask yourself, what do you really want?
My apologies, people. I've been up all night. Yeah, gun in your hand, decent. I want to get to the fast one. I want to get to the... I want to get back onto that stuff. That's the best sound. That really is the best sound. Leave the light on. Coming up next. Plenty of food to talk about. Let's go. Yes, now bless now, people. King of the Pit TV. Let's talk about Feelings by Lagwagon. We're on track number 3 of 12 already. Leave the light on is the title of this one. This entire listen through goes out to my man Ray. Let's jump in. Boom.
So bitch, leave the light
That's it.
on after you've gone. Leave the pictures in their 18 frames where they belong. Leave the bed sheets unclean and they will be confused still. Cover me in resolve. So please leave the imagery. I can twist it. Association and obsession. Superstition and pain. I can't carry them on to bury you once again.
If you're afraid of the times in hell and you're holding on, it's the part of you that won't let go of your life. You see devils tearing that life.
Some sustain there. Let's go.
You're holding. If you're afraid of the times in hell
That feedback.
and you're holding on, it's the part of you that won't let go of your life. You see devils tearing that life from your attachments. They've made you peace, but they're not punishing devils. They're really angels, free for you to song here. It's just a matter of how you look at it, that's all.
If I could bring this memory to life, I'd live to hear you say what they can't. They'd all love to have you back, but I'd give anything to bring you back to say goodbye.
Hey Steve, I think your singing was a little flat that time. Barry, why don't you play an A for Steve? You got that, Steve?
Fuck this shit.
What's got into him?
He can't take criticism.
Well, great.
If you want to know what that A was in the sample, it was 440 hertz, just so you know. I learned about vibration for the first time, like, ever properly the other day. Like, as far as what a hertz is and how it's measured. And sine waves and the different kind of waves and whatnot. I'm a numbnut, right? I talk about frequencies all the time. I don't really know what I'm talking about. But that was 440 hertz. That's the traditional standard frequency to tune your guitar up. Some people say it used to be 432 hertz, which 432 is a sacred number that you find through scripture and a lot of important measurements. So you wonder if that was originally it. Some say it's the frequency of the universe. How they measure that, who knows? But we changed it to 440 for some reason, you know? But yeah, nice that we went back to the fast one. Not a bad number at all. Not a bad number. What more can we talk about? I was having a look at the album artwork and I was having a think. I really like the album artwork, but I'd change the green to a yellow, like a bright yellow in the background, I think. That's what I'd do. Change Despair is coming up next, yeah. I like the experimental value of this record. I like that they're throwing a couple of different ideas in. It's not just, you know, free piece, let's just fire it to the end. They throw a few samples in there. The samples don't outstay their welcome. The elevator music on the first one was really good. They're doing quirkiness good, because a lot of bands do it and it sounds a bit forced, but this band's doing it well. Let's keep going. Whoa, mama! Any Johnny Bravo fans in the house? Johnny Bravo, a character who might not really have the opportunity he once had in the cartoon space in 2025. He loved the ladies too much, did Johnny Bravo. He loved the ladies too much. I don't know if you would present that to a director or whatever they would call a program manager now, if they would take that idea on. But I did like Johnny Bravo. Wasn't my favourite, and he wasn't put on at prime time, but he was enjoyable. Change Despair is this one, track 4 of 12. We're listening to Let's Talk About Feelings by Lagwagon. Alright, not to be mistaken with Don't. Let's go. Devoted to my man Ray. One love, Ray.
Everything that I've done, here into one, in keeping with some conviction, some stagnation, some change despair.
Let me tell you one thing, people. This is a good sound. If the frontman, and I'm going to check up on this, yeah, after this statement. If the frontman during this period was handsome, yeah, was a good-looking man, then it amplifies the hell out of what we're hearing and how I perceive this band. Because this vocal here, I know the ladies are excited. And you might say, why are you saying that? And it's because I've known enough alternate ladies in my time. From youth to now. And I understand this particular sound is easily marketable. Okay? I'll be back in 1 second. I will be casting judgment upon the appearance of the frontman during this particular period. Hold on tight. Okay, I'm back. Joey Cape. Put some respect on Joey Cape. Traditionally good looking. Might not be a supermodel, but I want to put some respect on Joey Cape. Handsome young fella. He's quite short of stature, which is quite funny because he's got the tallest guy on planet Earth in the band as well. This band, in a promo shot I just seen, has got both Joey Cape fronting the band, who's quite a short fella, and some guy like 7 foot in the band as well, which is quite humorous to see. There must be a thing with shorter dudes fronting pop punk bands like this, because it's the same situation with Saves the Day, who I referenced earlier in this album listen through. That must be the magic sauce. Short Kings Unite, front a pop punk band. Come on now. I'm going to have a look at Fat Mike's height. One moment. Bruh, I just had a quick Google search. They're telling me Fat Mike of NoFX is 6 foot. What? No heckin' way. He's taller than me. Fat Mike does not come across as 6 foot tall. I find that unbelievable. That's a madness. Anyway, I lied. He's not as tall as me. I'm 6'5". I'm 6'5", built like a brick shithouse. Yeah. Don't get it twisted. I do a little bit of bouncing on the weekends. Yeah, a bit of security work outside at places I can't talk about. Don't get too excited, people. Nah, I'm only joking. I'm 5'2". But Fat Mike, 6 foot. I don't know about that. He doesn't seem that. I'm going to Google who's the tallest and who's the shortest guy in pop punk. Let's find out. 1 second. Well, my searching did come across a thread, but what's more important than the height is somebody says collectively Bowling for Soup might be approaching £1,000, and I'm just going to leave it on that statement. I thought that was quite humorous. But they mentioned Chris from Lagwagon, so that must be the tall guy who I saw in the promo shots. I'm going to manage and establish like a boy band, a hardcore band, a tough guy hardcore band, and I'm just going to have men who are above 6'3" in the band. It's going to be a 4-piece to make things easy. Hey, if I can come across a fifth member, I'll happily make it a 5-piece, but I'm going to do a 4-piece act at least. Everyone's going to be over 6'3". We're going to make the toughest hardcore music going, and I'm going to make a lot of money. I'm going to make a lot of money doing that. You heard it here first, people. King of the Pit Records, yeah? Come on. That was a great... Whoa! That was a great tune. That was my favourite on the record so far. I liked it. I like how it was just driving forward, straight pop punk, like with a little more of the punk. A little more of the punk. I don't want the mid-tempo, I want the fast, and that sort of tickled my pickle. That we got Train coming up next. Yes, now, bless now. Don't forget the rest now. DEZ at KOTPTV, listening to Train. Not the same Train that put that number out. What was it? And now she's back from the atmosphere. Tears from Jupiter or something. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What a fucking banger. That's a banger. Train, Lagwagon, track 5 of 12 on Let's Talk About Feelings. Let's go.
My inspiration, no the sympathy, taking everything you want, and they left you all alone. My steady sun, self-appointed, I am a fraud, you are a martyr, it's decided that they owe you several words I can tell you. Right in the sewer, scraps they left behind. Once they're visionary and they are left brought to light. Your broken record playing for none, fabricate song, amputated, creative tongue. You sing on and on and on, I can tell you. I'm bringing you down, calling you out, taking your shield. It's easier now. Years have been kind. Distance between giving hindsight. I jumped a train.
Choo choo. Using a tremolo there for the train sound, unless it's a sample. It's good either way.
Your tragedy, so easy to read, is bitter envy. They're reaping all the lonely benefits. It's the train they stole and you never. I
train. 35-second number next. Shall we find out what it is? Hurry up and wait.
Cost $1 billion to look that good. Take it all off. It's pure.
Oh. Is it a sample?
Loot again. This happens often, and yet Ricky doesn't know why. We do.
It's time to get up and check out. We're heading for another town. We're never gonna make sound again. I can't even take a shit. No shower, shaving, no coffee. I can't fucking brush my teeth. Come on. We're already late, man. Let's go. Hurry up and wait. 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 Hurry up and wait.
Shows what you can cram into such a small amount of time, eh? Everything turns grey. Next one coming up. Yes, now bless now, people. Let's move on as we continue to talk about feelings. Track 7 of 12 on Lagwagon's album is entitled Everything Turns Grey. You know who this is devoted to. The man, the legend that is Ray, who put this forward on the Patreon. Let's jump in. All right. We're rocking and rolling on this one, eh? Sounds like Iron Maiden. That's straight up leading into an Iron Maiden solo section now. This is ahead of its time. This sounds like a 2000s number, this. Sounds like so. It sounds like Metallica's Fade to Black, leading up to the solo section. Haggering the old crash cymbal there. Normally, when it comes to pop punk bands, I say leave the metal stuff alone, leave the licks alone, leave the lead guitar alone. It's not my cup of tea. I tell Sum 41, don't do it. I tell The Offspring, don't do it. But you know what? This is an exception. This was a great sound. This was a great sound. They pulled it off, believe it or not. I'm surprised. I am surprised. We got Love Story coming up next, track number 8. Yes, now bless now, people. Do not forget the rest. Now, Love Story is track number 8 of 12 on Lagwagon's Let's Talk About Feelings. I understand it ticks the box of how the song wants to be titled, and maybe in the 90s it was different, but there's an abundance of songs entitled Love Story, so I'm not a fan of the title, but let's jump in, shall we? And of course, it includes the clean guitar. Of course, clean is relative, a light overdrive, but let's go. This album is only 25 minutes long. what do we call that? Onomatopoeia, is it? When the way you phrase something aligns with the word you use. Stop! In the lyric and the song stops. That's what it's called in a verbal sense, right? But there's maybe another word to utilize it in the, you know, in the songwriting sense, in the lyrical sense. Or maybe it's the exact same. Perhaps it's the exact same. I don't think there's a lyrical term for it. But there you go. Love story. Not too bad. Not too bad. Not too bad. Not too bad. Messengers, track number 9, coming up next. Yes, now, bless now. Do not forget the rest now. King of the Pit TV. Track 9 of 12 on Let's Talk About Feelings is entitled Messengers. Shall we jump in? I think we should do. These vocals, they must be they're double tracked, aren't they? They've got that Blink-182 sound. That's just not one vocal, but I don't think it's an effect on the vocal. I think it's multi-tracked, isn't it?
I'm providing you with the truth. I can stay up late, in and out of bed, cleaning up the mess inside my head.
The whole late, I can stay up late thing is like kind of pre-pubescent. Do you know what I mean? It's just a bit... There's a bit of a corniness to it. It's like, what are we, little babies writing songs about staying up late? Like, we're gonna listen to track 10 straight after this. Awesome. The kids are all wrong, all right? Which is...
Save on must-haves.
Save on what? Must-haves. Oh my god, 6 months instant ink. Yo, let me tell you something about printers, yeah? Do you know why you can't get knockoff printers? Do you know why they always have to be under particular manufacturers, yeah? Because when you print paper, the printer applies little yellow dots to each and every page, right? So if you print off any dodgy material and distribute it, they can actually find where it comes from, where the printer is. Well, not necessarily where it is, I suppose, but they can identify what printer was used and other information I've not looked into because it's not to do with me. But, you know, they can find out information based on these tiny little minuscule yellow dots that are placed upon the page, which are borderline invisible to the naked eye. How fascinating is that? And that's why you can't buy, like, bootleg printers. It's illegal. The Kids Are All Wrong is the title of this one. Probably a play on The Kids Are All Right, you know. The Kids Are All Right is a festival in New York. Oh no, it's New York's All Right, actually, isn't it? Yeah, New York's All Right. So if you like punk rock music, I'd recommend searching up New York's All Right, Lumpy and the Dumpers. Yeah, Lumpy and the Dumpers are a quality band. I don't think they're about no more. But that set is wild. Honestly, it defines punk rock in the modern day, in my personal opinion. The Kids Are All Wrong. Let's go. Only 1 minute, 7 seconds. We've got 2 long ones to finish, actually. They've left the long ones till the end, which is a reoccurring theme on some of the albums we've listened to recently.
Watching cars and focus on one.
It's got a good voice.
It's gone. Heroes die off every day, like fathers that would never stay. The kids are all wrong. The kids are all wrong. They're full of their hopeless opinions. The kids are all wrong. The kids are all wrong. It's all I ever really learned.
Let me tell you something about selling out, yeah? If this band put out many records after this, they needed to incorporate a little more clean singing and get a couple of hit songs out of that, because he's got a right voice. He's got a right voice, a great voice for cleaner, traditional pop structured songs. Could proper get a hit with a voice like that. We've got May 16 coming up next, yeah? Yes, no! King of the Pit TV, let's talk about feelings. Track 11 of 12 is entitled May 16. What about May 16? Shall we find out? Their tune Violins was uploaded 3 months ago and has 188k views. To be fair, this was uploaded 3 months ago, 214k views. Should we do some Melancholy next? Never listened to them either.
No more waiting on them as you rise inside your rooms. It's official, you've gone. You can live for no one else, man. The guilt must be huge. There's no gain in failure.
Do you think the lady on the front cover will bloom into a beautiful woman? It's a weird thing to put forth, because it's obviously depicted as a nerdy sort of, you know, one would say ugly person, which is quite unfair. And I know I'm just saying it's unfair when it's a depiction of a fictional character. But I've been staring at this front cover now for 11 tracks, so I'm going to have to reference it at some point, alright? Fantastic shade of hair. Strong facial structure. I think she could grow into her looks. Alright? I think she could grow into her looks. And she could be of legal age. I'm only casting judgment based upon the braces. I had braces when I think I had my braces. I put my braces on late. And because of the fashion as to which I did it, I had them on for a long time. I think I had braces on until I was 21, 22, 23, something like that. I liked them, believe it or not. I wasn't ashamed of them. I thought it was quite the statement, you know. When your teeth come together and they look a little more presentable than they did prior, then the idea of having braces on was quite cool to me, I thought. My teeth were quite bad initially. It's quite harsh, actually, because I'm saying, right, this is a depiction of a nerdy, like, not very good looking person. But that's tight of me, because maybe this was based on a real person who they knew, and I'm casting judgment saying that they've done it purposefully, whereas it's just how somebody looks, you know.
You enter against this cruel world. Take a breath of shelter.
I guess it's because it's an artist depiction, you know, as opposed to a real person.
Hey, oh, trust and allegiance. Liberate yourself from hell. It's just another Saturday. It's just another Saturday.
That was good. A little more fleshed out than the tracks that have come prior. Obviously, it's one of Lagwagon's highlights as far as this album's concerned, considering the heavy, steep escalation in view count. Probably the most viewed on the record, because we've got Owen Meany next, and I've seen it in the related videos. It doesn't have as many views, I don't think. Shall we just double check? No, 12k. So steep. Maybe the algorithm pushed it 3 months ago, you know, or maybe that's what the people want to hear, because I saw a couple of covers down in the side. Even the covers are getting hundreds of thousands of views. Can you believe it or not? So we're on the last track, but in relation to that one, I don't know why that one had such an escalation of the views. Maybe because it's just a little more palatable, it's longer form, a little more song structured, and that's what the people want from this band. Why the hell not? It's pop punk, so let's make it pop. Let's formulate it like a pop song and get the full structure in there, you know, instead of coming in and out. Owen Meany's the last track on this record. Let's just jump straight in, yeah? King of the Pit TV, last track on Let's Talk About Feelings is entitled Owen Meany. It's the longest track on the record. Maybe there's a hidden track because it's the 90s and it's the longest track on the record and it's the last track. Maybe it's a hidden track. So this entire record goes out to Ray. If you're a fan of Lagwagon, don't thank me, thank Ray for recommending this over on the Patreon. Let's jump in, shall we? Nice sound, nice change from the norm. Little violin in there. The broken chords. That was a great sound. Was it my favourite Lagwagon sound? No, I like the faster pace stuff. But the development into the track, the usage of a few more chord voicings, let's say, was a nice change from the norm. And a good display of what this band can do outside of what we've heard up until this point. A little more emo adjacent in the soundscape, a little more open, a little more of a development with the toms and whatnot, the tom rolls, and I thought that was really good. Could I listen to a whole album on that? It wouldn't be my cup of tea, but it wouldn't be too far separate from some of the, you know, the hardcore punk adjacent emo bands were here every once in a while. I thought that was quite good. I'm going to do one last video. I'll give you my final overview on this record and I'll rate it out of 10. I'll see you there. Yes, now people, King of the Pit TV, you know, let's talk about feelings. Not my feelings. Not your feelings. Well, actually, yeah, about my feelings about this record. That's why we're here. Well, maybe you're here to see my pretty face, but you know, understood that's 90% of my audience, all right? But I tried to ignore that. I like to hope that you like to hear me engage with you about music. Let's Talk About Feelings was the record we were listening to. 12 tracks, recommended on the Patreon by my good friend Ray. Thank you very much for this, Ray. You know what, Ray? Lagwagon is an act I needed to check out sometime. And I appreciate you wholeheartedly because at my big age, I don't really listen to new music anymore. Within reason, you know, all the recommendations I get put forth are essentially the direction my musical taste goes to for the most part in this day and age, you know? That's it. Let's Talk About Feelings was a 90s record, 98 I think it was put out. 3-piece band, correct me if I'm wrong, by Lagwagon. No, Lagwagon isn't a 3-piece. The display photo shows 3 members, but when I had a look at the promo shots, there were like 5 members. So you tell me if I'm right or wrong about that. It sounds like it could be executed by a 3-person band. It does sound like that, but I don't see why they couldn't have... 5 would be a lot for this particular sound. I'm not going to lie to you. Maybe later on in their career they brought more people in. But we got pop punk. We got a 25-minute record with 12 tracks. Yes! I like that. I like that. I like that because I like punk rock music and I like pop punk abiding a little more so to the punk. In my pop punk, I like 55% punk, 45% pop. All right? The production value on this record was good. I think... disregarding the music, the branding, i.e. the album artwork, is striking and rememberable and symbolic of the 90s to a point where, from a nostalgic value to this day, it's still going to do a benefit of promoting the record and producing revenue and revisits to the record. In a psychological way as well, you are going to apply a more in-depth association with this album and the way it's made you feel, down to the fact feelings is in the title. So on in a like an unconscious basis, it's gonna plant a seed per se for you to think, I really enjoyed that, because you're hyperfixated and focused on the fact it's entitled Let's Talk About Feelings. Why that's going to happen, I don't know. It's pseudo-psychological, but come on. There is a realm of word association game going on here. Did you know? I was learning about Sigmund Freud the other day, and do you know what him and his co-psychologist did? They would talk hours and hours, days on days with people. Or they wouldn't talk, they would just listen to people just talk. Their stream of conscious word association, and they would just pay attention to what word connected onto what, and insane in the best possible way. Insane work ethic. Good production. The drums were so powerful at the start. I was questioning as to whether it was programmed or not. You know, very punchy drum sound. Guitar work, nice, round, soft, pillowy distortion. Nothing too sharp, nothing too harsh. Vocal, okay. The vocalist and his penmanship wasn't the greatest. He had a good vocal performance. It wasn't bad. Melodically speaking, you know, nah. Lyrically speaking, I don't think the production gave the lyrical the clarity, the coherency that might have been necessary. But then again, I don't really hyper-focus on lyrical content. I like the music, and I'll pick up on a melody before I will a lyric or a concept. I wonder if this is the best Lagwagon record. I wonder where they go from here. They had a brief acoustic number, or a cleaner number, entitled The Kids Are All Wrong, which gave me insight to what the band could become. Could it become something more to me? Maybe not if they took that path. But as far as a marketable band that really utilized what they were capable of, his great singing voice, the tone of his voice, and the fact he can sing on an acoustified track, means we've got room to create a couple of pop hits down the line. Pop punk hits, but pop hits nonetheless. If I'm going to rate this record, I'll rate it a 6.5. A little bit harsh, yeah. But I feel like there's room for development on this record. It feels like this is a seed that's been planted. And I think there's a maturity potential in the progression of this band from here on. Maybe this was the last album they did. I don't know. But that's what I've got to say. On that note, I'm signing out, people. Peace.